You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Daniel Monday Night Community Show on demand through YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to us through this method. If you'd like to keep up to date with when I add new interviews, then subscribe to this channel. First to both of you, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you could just introduce yourselves to us.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for having us back onto the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening. My name's Geof Reid. I'm one of the Director Trustees at Queenborough Harbour, and this is my colleague,
Stuart Bradley. I'm also one of the directors down at Queenborough Harbour.
So I was wondering, how have things been going for you at the Queenborough Harbour Trust since we last met?
Well, last year proved to be very, very successful. We've been carrying on developing the pontoon, and we've got some extra moorings around the harbour. We've been working on the walkway down and the all-tide landing. Pleased to report that visitor numbers are up last year on the previous year, and indeed, even more encouraging is the fact that with this year so far, we are well up on the same time last year in terms of visitor numbers. That's good for not only for us, but it's also good for the town and the number of people going ashore, spending money and helping rejuvenate the area.
That's right. It's worth remembering that in 2012, when the harbour was run by Swale Borough Council, quite understandably, the council were not keen to commit money to running a harbour to the benefit of boat owners at the expense of ratepayers. So there was a real possibility that the harbour and the harbour facilities at Queenborough would have been lost forever. But thanks to the local people of Queenborough and beyond, that they came together to form Queenborough Harbour Trust and put together a group that is beginning now to guarantee the long-term viability of Queenborough Harbour. And as my colleague Stuart was saying, that the visitor numbers are going up, and of course, with each boat, there are perhaps 3 or 4 members who come into Queenborough, and they may well go ashore into the pubs and into the restaurants to spend their hard-earned money and avail themselves of the local services at Queenborough, as well, of course, is to investigate a lot of the very historic architecture that there is remaining in Queenborough. Still a very, very lovely place to visit, and we often get comments from visitors saying how nice Queenborough is. And as well as we're getting numbers of people visiting us, is also a lot of return visitors, people who come, like it, and want to come back again.
Yes, it could be said, rather than a stopover place, we're trying to develop Queenborough Harbour and the town of Queenborough as a destination in itself, rather than the stopover place that it has been seen as over the years.
Because it's convenient for Queenborough is convenient for going to the East Coast or going to London, but as Stuart is saying, a number of people now particularly like to come down, stay for a couple of days, or just stay for lunch, depending where they come from. But increasingly, people are beginning to stay over. And another thing that's happening, which is new, I think, is that people are coming, and instead of travelling on up to London and paying mooring fees there of something like £70 or £80 a night for a boat, they're staying with us for 2-3 days and then catching the train to London, because of course the public transport links to London are very good from Queenborough, and a number of people are taking advantage of that.
I understand that there's some congratulations in order.
Well, yeah. Last year, we started putting a bid together to the Coastal Community Fund, CCF, in order to develop the services at Queenborough. So this was back in the summer, about June, and I was working with a number of other people from from Sheerness who had formed themselves together into a group called Sheppey Proud, who were going to put bids in to the Coastal Community Fund. Sheppey Proud is a group that was but is led by Heather Pugh, with the notion of taking advantage of the advantages that Sheerness has, and coming up with a number of projects to develop Sheerness, make Sheerness more attractive to visitors as well as to people that live in Sheerness. And one of the schemes that was worked up was a scheme for Queenborough Harbour to develop the mooring facilities, because just to make really clear, what Queenborough Harbour Trust does is to manage the mooring facilities at Queenborough Harbour. So we worked up a bid in the summer, and we put it in just before Christmas, and we learnt a couple of weeks ago that we have been successful in that bid, and that Coastal Community Fund, funded by central government, has made an award of £500,000 to Queenborough in order to develop the services, a project that has to be delivered within 2 years, on time and on budget. So we clearly are delighted, and we feel that we have been entrusted in the expenditure of public money, and so we feel that this is quite a compliment that is being paid to us. But more importantly, it's a recognition from central government that the island, and Queenborough in particular, is an area that can be developed to the advantage of the people who live there and to people in the surrounding areas. So we're very much looking forward to the next 2 years to develop this project. It's a lot of hard work. Clearly, we are a voluntary organisation. We do have paid staff who are harbour operators and harbour managers and admin support, but nevertheless, the bulk of the work is done on a voluntary basis, and for a voluntary organisation to be entrusted with a substantial investment like this is welcome and in a sense humbling, but we're looking forward to making it happen and gaining the benefits to Queenborough from such an investment.
So who actually are the CCF? And I was hoping you could go into more about why they've awarded you the grant.
Well, the CCF, Coastal Communities Fund, is a government body, a government agency, so which dishes out money for the development of coastal areas. Over the years, coastal towns, coastal areas have in the UK as a general thing have become run down, etc. People don't go around the coast these days. They go abroad for their holidays. A lot of coastal areas are run down and have gone into dilapidations. And the Coastal Communities Fund is about redeveloping the coastal areas. Set up by the government, I believe they had, I'm told, don't quote me on this, but I think they have something in the order of 100 million to spend. So but that is for the whole of the UK. So Queenborough getting 500,000 is really a big amount, one of the larger amounts that they're going to be dealing with. So it's very, very pleasing. So it's about development. When we look at Queenborough, it's not really about developing the harbour. The Coastal Communities Fund are not really bothered about the harbour as such. All the harbour is to them is the vehicle by which they can develop the town, to bring money into the town. So if more visitors the harbour gets, the more money goes into the town with the use of the restaurants, etc., as we've previously said. That's really what it's about.
And as well as the increase in the service industries, also to promote maritime related jobs, because if there are enough people coming to Queenborough by boat, then supportive trades will develop in order to service those people. So it is seen as a way of regenerating areas that have bags of potential, but further investment would bring that potential to the surface more. And we are Queenborough Harbour is one of, I think, 34 projects that got the green light, and in order to help promote and regenerate coastal towns.
So what does the QHT have to deliver?
For this CCF grant, we have to deliver quite a lot. People kind of assume that when you get a substantial grant like this, you're suddenly flush with cash. You're full of money as an organisation. Well, that's not the case, and sometimes the opposite can come to the surface. So what we have to deliver is a minimum of 60 additional moorings. We have to safeguard the current paid employees' posts, and we have to deliver additional posts in as well as our current post. And we have to show that the investment of this 500,000 by the CCF has resulted in increased trade around Queenborough, which has encouraged local businesses to employ more people. So the CCF are all about increasing employment opportunities in areas where employment opportunities may not be great. So that's what we have to deliver. In addition to delivering the 60 moorings, guaranteeing existing jobs, employing more people directly ourselves, and by our increased trade, bring about conditions that cause other people to be employed. We have to fund £25,000 worth of investment from our own funds, which as a community group, as a CIC, but who are not backed by cash, that undertaking is quite substantial. That 25,000 is quite substantial. And of course, the temptation is that when you've got a project like this, it's tempting, and it's easy to overrun if you're not careful. If you do overrun, of course you have to fund that extra. There's no safety net there. So if you go over by 10, 15, 20,000, that's got to come from your own funds. And whereas in the case of Queenborough Harbour, funds are always tight, that would be a real problem. So additional moorings, bringing additional people to Queenborough, guaranteeing jobs, expanding the jobs, and bringing more jobs into Queenborough. That, in a nutshell, is what we have to deliver, and in a 2-year period to do that.
And just picking up on what Geof has just been talking about there, the money from the CCF, the £500,000, is very, very specifically targeted. It is for the moorings and for the employment of staff, etc., and that only. And that only. There are other things we're trying to do which we still haven't got any money for. So I'm going to bring out the begging bowl, if you like, because we can only spend this money on moorings. But we have other needs. We have a need for a new trot boat. We have a need for providing facilities for the disabled. We'd like to put in new showers and toilets onto the pontoons for our visitors. There are a number of other things that we like to do. But we can't spend that money on the money from the CCF on those items. It is just for those items. So if you've got some money and you'd like to come along to us and give us some money for any of those items, and particularly one of my favourites would be the sailing for the disabled, then come along to us and we'll put a package together with you. We'll put your name on it, even call the project after you if you like.
We're meeting, aren't we, Stuart, with the Kent Ambassadors tomorrow, aren't we? Tell people about that a little.
The Kent Ambassadors are a group of business people that go around, circulate around the county, and they are significant business people. I've not met them yet, so I'm told they are. So significant business people, and as they come into us, and we're going to give them the wish list, as I've just given part of to you, and they're going to, as they go on through their business life, they can then promote our business and tell people about our wish list, and hopefully maybe attract more money for specific purposes. I think that's the way forward you have to go when you're trying to fund projects. It's not just a matter of giving things to an organisation, but you give something to an organisation for a specific purpose. And hopefully, maybe tomorrow, when we see the Kent Ambassadors, maybe there'll be one or two within the group themselves that would like to help with one or two of those projects I've mentioned.
We're talking all about the Queenborough Harbour Trust. So apart from the grant we were just talking about, what else is going on at the Queenborough Harbour?
A number of things are coming to the harbour. I suppose one of the biggest is the Medway celebration that's taking place this year. It's the 350th anniversary of the Battle of the Medway, or the Battle of Chatham is known in Holland, when the Dutch fleet sailed into the Medway, set fire to a substantial part of the British fleet, capturing and taking away the flagship Royal Charles. So a commemoration is planned for the 8th to the 17th of June by Medway Council, Chatham Historic Dockyard Trust and the MSBA. There are going to be in the area some 300 visiting craft, sail and power. There's a fleet that is gathering in Queenborough on June the 7th. At least 30 boats will be there. There'll be 300 boats in total in the area, and we were able to accommodate 30 of them. And they're going to be making their way up to Chatham, up the Medway, to reenact the Battle of the Medway, and they will be staying with us for that time. There'll be firework displays, so that is a date for your diary, and that's called the Medway in Flames. As a part of that, there is we're supporting the Queenborough Independence Day event, which is taking place on June the 16th. So that's taking place in Queenborough, where Medway will let me get that right, shall I? Where Queenborough is celebrating the invasion of the Dutch, and of course Queenborough being handed back from the Dutch that took place in 1966, or was it 67? 67, of course, 1967. So there'll be celebrations in Queenborough then. Different to that, we're delighted to say on the 23rd of June there is a Thames barge passage match from Queenborough to Ipswich. So it'd be lovely to see all those beautiful Thames barges in Queenborough. So we're looking forward to them. That's the 23rd of June. 20th of August, there is an RNLI Open Day, as there was last year, where the RNLI will be on the pontoon, and the public will be able to access the boat down through the all tide landing, and enjoy the boat there. That's the 23rd of June, and a lot of dates here, I'm afraid. And then on the 9th and 10th of September, there is the second of the classic yacht a motor boat festival. That was very successful last year, coming as it does at the end of the season. We had a lot of lovely historic boats in. Oyster smacks over from Essex. We had some classic tugs, including the MT Kent. There was something there for everybody. A lot of people came and enjoyed that, so I recommend that. That's the 9th and 10th of September. So we're trying to support events that are of interest to people, and will encourage people to come to the harbour, come to Queenborough. And we've also Queenborough Harbour's just published a community newsletter, which, if you're in the area, is in the pubs and the libraries and other places, as well as from the Harbour Office, that not only talks about Queenborough Harbour Trust, but talks of various events that are taking place in the area of Queenborough. And finally, there is a new harbour guide that we're giving out to visitors and interested parties, and they too are available from pubs and from the Harbour Office.
So what can people do who wish to help the development of the Queenborough Harbour Trust?
But before I go into that, I must make a correction. I made a mistake on the last occasion. I foolishly said that the Queenborough Independence Day is on June the 16th. It's not. It's on June the 17th. That's a Saturday, so I'm going to repeat that, June the 17th. And that's a cracking day. It's being organised by people from Queenborough, the various pubs and clubs and the yacht clubs and all in sundry are helping this community event take place. So I really want to make sure I promoted that and gave that some airtime. That's June the 17th. But Stuart's going to talk about how you can assist in the development of Queenborough through the harbour.
What can people do who wish to help the development of Queenborough Harbour? Well, first thing I want to say is you don't have to know lots about boats or marine things or anything like that. If you've got some skills that you can offer us, if you're an electrician, that's good. If you have any other building skills, joiner or anything like that, that's good if you would like to come along there. If you have none of those skills and you can wield a paintbrush, great. Okay, there's always lots and lots of painting and things like that to do. So come along if you just wish to come along and go out in the trot boats and to assist our own operatives who will be in charge of the boat to help them getting people to and from their own boats around the harbour. That would be interesting. I'm sure you'd find that interesting. So whatever you do, just come down and see us, and we can find you a job. If you have administration skills, we can find you work there as well. Anything you like. It doesn't have to be marine based. Okay. However, if you want to learn a little bit about marine based, and say you went out in the trot boats around the harbour with our operative staff and you wanted to learn a bit more about it, there may be opportunities for us to give you some training and to a recognised qualification, such as level 2 in boat handling or something like of that order. So there is a payback for you as well. So we'd like to just come along and see us. The other way you can help us, of course, is by supporting us at those events that Geof has just told you about, like the Classic Boat Show and the Medway on Fire. You can come along and see us and support us at those events if you don't want to come along and wield a paintbrush. Okay, now I'm going to give you a bit of a pre-warning now. The next time we stop, we're going to give you the contact details. So now is your chance to go and get a pencil and paper.
And I know before you went, you just wanted to cover all the useful contact details.
Yes, before though the contact details, to give you a little bit more time to find that pen and paper, etc., just want to mention one or two more things that you can do to help us, etc. One thing that everyone can do is we do what we call adopting a plank. Now, you've probably bought a brick or something like that for a voluntary organisation in the past. Well, we've got an adopt a plank. That's a plank on our great long walkway that we have, 200 metres of it, and you can buy yourself a plank from as little as £25 and have a little plaque. For your £25, you get a little plaque on your plank on the walkway down to the pontoons. Okay, £25, or if you want a whole plank, that's £25 for half a plank, £50 for a full plank, and you get your name and then a name on the plank or whatever you want to put. A lot of people have put in memory of or of a loved one that is no longer with us, or something like that, something that people can be remembered by. For the business community now, we have a couple of ideas that we'd like to bring to you, and that is, we are in dire need of more expertise in the business from the business world, and particularly for people who would like to become trustees. We are very short of trustees. All those director trustees down there are volunteers. So if you'd like to come along and do lots and lots of hard work and lots of meetings and everything like that, and not get paid for it, but be very well rewarded and interested in what's going on, then please come and see us. Okay? And we particularly want business people from the island. I myself come from London. That's an awful long way to come. So please, we'd sooner have people from the island that can get down there and do things. Okay? Business people. And finally, what I'd like to mention to you is advertising. We've got those big... Well, the pontoon is a large feature, and we've got those big containers on the pontoon, etc., with lots and lots of space for advertising. So if you have got a business that you would like to advertise to the boating community, then we've got the room for you to be able to put those up. Please get in contact with us. The contact details are now coming your way from Geof.
So to telephone 01795 66 2051. What's that 61? I can't remember now. 61. So I'll say that again, shall I? 662061. But if you're on the net, the easiest way is to put in Queenborough Harbour, and the website address will come up. But that is www.queenborough-harbour.co.uk. The email is info@queenborough-harbour.co.uk. So telephone number again, 01795 66 2061.
Or, of course, you can just pop down there and see any of the staff or any of us that happen to be down there.
Well, Geof and Stuart, I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time out and giving us an update and telling us all about what you're doing.
Well, thank you for having us on the show, Daniel. Thank you to your listeners for listening. Thank you.
Thank you for listening.
That was Geof and Stuart here in the studio telling us all about the Queenborough Harbour Trust.